I wouldn't say we're playing our best basketball, but I think we're playing better together every game, and you can see it with just not only scoring, but being connected on defense and locking into the game plan and doing what we want to do. I think this is we're just trying to grow every game. We can't hit our peak right now, and so I think we just have to keep growing and adding on things that we want to do.
Nikki, when you look back at that last game, was it more a case of West Virginia kind of controlling things early, or did y'all not play that well in the first half?
No, I mean, I think they hit us in the mouth coming out. I think some of that was, it's very easy to get comfortable with success, and when it was so easy offensively against Kansas State, moving the ball, getting the whatever shot we wanted, knocking shots down when we got to them, and all of a sudden you have a team that's like super physical and really aggressive at every point of attack, and and I just we went to the line and we were missing free throws, and so I think that was like kind of momentum draining, where you're aggressive, you do what you need to do to pick up a foul, and then you go miss two, and we took some bad shots. We absolutely allowed them to speed us up, and we took some bad shots. We missed some free throws, and our defense wasn't really that bad. It was just low scoring. It was just a grind it out kind of situation. So, I just thought in the second half, we just did a better job of managing possessions, taking the right shots. We obviously then made our free throws, and so simple things like that.
Once again, you guys are playing a team back to back. And so, what's the key to that? I mean, you guys it worked out well the first time around.
Yeah, I mean every situation's different. This one is a little more traditional prep because we had Sunday off 2 days, and but you pretty much have to get everything in before this first one, in this situation, and so it's just processing opponent, and then being able to turn around and say, okay, here's what we did well, here's what we need to improve on, going into that second one. But for us, to get to this point in the season and have not played them, because this is a COVID makeup. That's the uniqueness of I think the game for us, that we've now played certain teams 2 times, and this is the first time we're facing them. So, I think a lot of it with them, for these guys, is challenging them to not look at their record, that they're good enough to beat anybody in this league, that they've played Kansas State close to the fourth quarter and just played Kansas close to the – I mean, they've played good teams well, and have put together good stretches of basketball. Maybe not enough to sustain and win as many games as I certainly think they expected to this year with all of their kind of super seniors and veteran players. But I just think we have to guard against looking at their record, because I think they're better than their record indicates.
At the same time, do you look at the opportunity that's ahead of you if you can win your 2 games this week?
No. I mean, for us, it's 1-0. I mean, we're still behind Iowa State. We still know that, we may be in a tie with Oklahoma, but they'd have a tie break, with us by beating us twice. So, we need to just take one game at a time. We need to let the other games unfold. I know it's a big week for Iowa State that way, and so it just really doesn't matter what next week looks like if we don't take care of tomorrow. It doesn't matter what next week looks like if we don't take care of tomorrow and Saturday. So we just have to go one game at a time and do it that way.
Jordan, do you like the opportunity of playing someone new at this time of the year? Like Coach just said, you've played other teams twice, and now you have a new opponent.
Yeah, I think it's just another opportunity to go play a different kind of team. Everyone in this league is kind of different in their own way, and so I think getting to play at TCU, and especially back-to-back like we did Texas, you have the ability to make adjustments going into the second game, and so I think it is exciting to play a new team with a new style.
Jordan, you and Melissa have had, kind of parallel really good games several times lately. Is that coincidence, or is there something to that?
I mean, I think it just kind of is how aggressive they're playing us or not playing us, and I think success has come from other people playing well as well. So Sarah's production, Jamie's production, Queen's production, like it kind of draws attention to you're going to have to guard all of us straight up. And so I think everyone else's success has led to us being more open and being able to move on the court more. And I think part of it is that me and Liz end up in a lot of ball screens together, and so I think just like the chemistry is there to get her the ball or to get me the shot or just however they're playing us. So, yeah.
And Nikki, what has been the key in Melissa's? I mean, she's been good all year, but this last 4-game stretch has been incredible.
A lot of it, I think, it's, she's a player that, quite frankly, is easy for me to get shots for, especially when teams play us man. Sometimes it's more difficult against the zone. I thought against Kansas State, she did a really good job of working to get open in the high post, and I think it's a place she can be really, really successful. But it's transition. Like we've talked a lot, and I know Coach Green really has talked to Liz about, hey, when teams load up against you, the one thing they can't do is load up against you in transition. So, we've learned to move her around. I think this team in general is learning the playbook better, over time, and so. Even in the last game against West Virginia, she makes a 3, but, we ran action to get her touches on the low block. And, we just kind of moved her around to where, you can't find her all the time. I mean, not that people are going to forget where she's at, but the more you put 2 good players in an action, whether it's a ball screen, whether it's a pin down screen, they've got to guard it honest, with the quality of players that we put on the floor all the time. And so, I think it's consistency of effort. I think it's want to. I think obviously she was really, really good in the Texas, series and in terms of making plays. And sometimes Liz makes tough plays look easy, and people probably don't give her enough credit for some of the tough shots she makes because, that they're so fluid for her that they seem easy. But, we put that game away against Texas a lot because of her getting out in transition and getting some easy ones.
Is that baseline jumper something you kind of added to the?
I think she's had it. I don't want to say that I've added it. I think if you can look back at film and look at her shot chart over the course of her career, it's a shot she has made, maybe not as consistently as she's making now. We've just run action to get her that shot, and so I think that's, I'm not giving anything away. We run some misdirection action to get her into that space and because it's a good spot for her, both because she can take that shot and then we've opened up the middle for her to attack with her right hand. And so, really understanding over time as a coach, even over the course of the season, there's things you run that you go, I think this is going to be a great thing, and you realize this is not good. I haven't necessarily eliminated off the play call sheet, but I've eliminated it up here to actually play, to call that play. And so you just learn what works, what's really good with your team, and you have to be willing to scrap things that in your head or on paper you thought were going to be great for your team, but then we don't either execute them well or we don't create the right spacing in them with them. So, I think we're learning to really understand the playbook and where we can get shots.
What do you see in TCU, or what's the main?
Yeah, I think obviously Lauren Hurd is the head of the snake, both offensively and defensively. She hasn't shot the ball particularly well this season, but she's had big games. But what she does is she puts downhill pressure on you. She's good at getting to the rim. She's good at drawing fouls. I went back and watched the game from last year in the Big 12 tournament, and Dee Dee got to watch most of it from the bench. Even though it was a blowout, ended up being a blowout win for Baylor. She was in foul trouble because Lauren just puts her head down and goes. And so, being good at the point of attack on her, they play a lot of players, so they've got depth. They give you a lot of changing looks on D. You're going to get multiple presses, multiple zones. You're going to get man. You're going to in that man. They're going to play people different ways. And so it's kind of settling in and reading the D. It's always easier as a coach when you know. And it's not easier if you're facing a team that's just flat great at what they do. But sometimes the unpredictability, like I don't like not knowing how much 2-3 will they play us, how much, that type of thing. You want to know so that you can game plan for that. So I think it's the changing looks that probably concerns me the most. And then, really like just Lauren Hurd downhill.
So you don't have a good enough relationship with Reagan that she would tell you?
Yeah, she's probably not going to tell me. And you always hope this late in the season, this is the difference between college and the pros too. sometimes teams get this late in the season and they're having a down year, and they'll pack it in. You know, it's counting days till the exit interviews and they're on to their next. But you got a lot of players with a lot of pride. You've got super seniors there that want to finish strong. Like, I just haven't seen any let up from them in terms of effort or intensity or anything like that. So, you know, I know she's going to have them ready. I know they're going to play really hard. So we're going to have to play well to win. They're not going to come in here and not compete or lie down or, you know, count the days till spring break. Like, they're still playing really, really hard.
Coach, is there even more of an excitement level? Obviously, knowing TCU is not too far away, and you know, it's easier for their fans. I mean, it's going to be a pretty packed house.
I'm not sure I care whether their fans come or not. I just hope our fans come out in droves. Certainly when we go up there, I can't wait to see the green and gold in Fort Worth. That was, you know, honestly, like, one of the best parts about playing at UT was how many Baylor people we had at the game. I can say in all my years of coaching that I've never gotten to hype a crowd on the road before. So, you know, I think that part is exciting. Whether they travel fans or not, you know, I'm not sure that that matters to me tomorrow night, but I just hope we have a great turnout here, because I think the fact that we are in this stretch run trying to compete for a championship, because these guys are so good and worth seeing, you know, I think people are missing a great opportunity to watch great basketball if they don't come to the Farrell Center.
I know you've offered them a lot of stuff, but do you feel like you're building a student base?
I'm trying, you know, and I think when they come, it's the idea of that they enjoy the experience. I just think there's so much to be said, and that's not to take away from any single fan that comes to any one of our games. I'm grateful for each and every one that comes, but there's certainly a different energy from students. You know, I mean, there's just they're louder. They get on the opponents. They get on the opponents, you know, coaches. I mean, it's just a different level of fandom, you know, and an environment that they can create. So, you know, I think these guys deserve, you know, you have women's basketball traditionally doesn't draw great student crowds, and that's across the board. Unfortunately, I don't know if the perception is we're not cool enough, you know, but so I think everything we can do to be cool to them, whether it's giveaways or connections to players, that type of thing, I think is important. I went and spoken to classrooms on Friday just to try to keep connecting to the student body and get them excited to see these guys play.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.